Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot, and tonight I'm going to review the brand new Jurassic World Evolution DLC, The Secrets of Dr. Wu. It just came out today for a lot of you on the 20th, but I've had my hands on it for a week or so now, and have plenty of hours in it, and have completed the main storyline that comes along with it. So basically I'm hoping to help some of you who are a little bit on the fence about whether to purchase or not. Before we begin, I am not reviewing patch 1.5, which did also hit today, so things like the sleeping behaviours, etc. won't factor into this discussion. Now, the DLC contains a few notable components, three primary ones I would say: the dinosaurs, the genetic modifications, and the story, the campaign. There are some other facets to it which I'll briefly address at the end, but I'd say these are the three primary reasons anyone would be considering picking up the DLC in the first place. So we're going to talk about them one by one, starting with maybe the most important for some of you, the dinosaurs. The Secrets of Dr. Wu contains 5 brand new dinosaurs, 3 of which are hybrids, unlocked via the story campaign that comes with the game. Those 5 are the Olorotitan, the Troodon, Ankylodocus, Stegoceratops, and Spinoraptor, and your mileage with this DLC is probably mainly going to depend in part on how okay you are with using hybrids in your park. For what it's worth at least, 2 of the 5 dinosaurs feel pretty unique within the overall game, that is the Spinoraptor and the Troodon. The latter in particular, given its tiny stature, compsognathous noise effects, they are absolutely adorable. Fantastic and unique new animations, and of course this unique venomous bite it also has. The Spinoraptor has a pretty awesome design, a unique size, some brand new animations as well, whereas whilst the Olorotitan is pretty enough, it offers basically nothing new at all beyond that. And the other 2 herbivorous hybrids are similarly unique in their designs, but similarly samey in their execution. The carnivores have been given all of the love here, though it must be said that all of the dinosaurs outside of the Troodon have a pretty great selection of skins available. I suggest even those of you who are on the fence with the hybrids will find that you at least enjoy the Spinoraptor, given its much more realistic design. It is an awesome dinosaur, so you should find at least 3 dinosaurs here you'll enjoy bringing into your parks. For some people, that will be worth the price of admission alone. For others, the lack of new animations and unique effects for the 3 herbivores will be disappointing, and I totally understand that. It feels a little bit odd to have these unique abilities and animations, this really cool stuff on the Troodon, sitting next to the seemingly low effort Olorotitan, and I do wish some herbivores were given that extra level of love that it seems the carnivores have more readily received. Oddly enough, in a pack containing 5 new dinosaurs, I would suggest the new genetic options presented in the DLC are actually the most important part, and I can't really find fault here. To summarise how this works, if you have the DLC, then every dinosaur in the game, old and new, will have new tabs in their genetic modification pages. Within these tabs you can edit the social ranges, population ranges, environmental needs and comfort needs of your dinosaurs. It's a big deal, and it's going to have long-lasting ramifications on how you design every park enclosure in the future. For example, your big, once lonely and depressed carnivores like Allosaurus, T-Rex and the like can now be modified to have a social limit all the way up to 4 dinosaurs. Similarly, your fussy Ankylosaurians, which refuse to be housed with too many other dinosaurs due to low population limits, can now be adjusted and then happily thrown into larger exhibits. Have you got a picky sauropod who wants more forest? Well, you can reduce that forest need. Have you got an Indominus Rex that breaks out every time there's a storm because they're a pain in the ass? Well, you can lower its comfort requirements and make it relatively docile. Relatively. I would love to be able to present a more critical review of this part of the DLC, but in all honesty, I'm really struggling to find fault with it. It's the most important part of the DLC, all the genes are well balanced in terms of how they impact the viability of the embryos, and it's a huge fundamental change that, as I say, will have ramifications for exhibit building until the very end of Jurassic World Evolution's lifespan. If you intend to play this game for a long time, then this alone is definitely enough reason to pick up the DLC as far as I'm concerned. I already cannot imagine going back to how it used to be. If I absolutely had to find fault, and it is a tiny one, I'd say the fact you can increase social needs by 1 or by 3, but not by 2, is a rather odd choice. But it's really not a big deal. As a little bonus at the end on the same topic, you can also unlock a new adaptive camouflage gene for your Indominus Rex. It doesn't do much other than change its skin to green as it moves through thick foliage, and it is absolutely something that should have been in the game from the start, but it's a really nice addition to the genetics roster, and it gives that dinosaur just something a little bit more unique. All that positivity is unfortunately going to be hard to keep up as we move on to the third topic, however. the story. I am going to try very hard to avoid any form of spoilers here, but be warned, I mean, we are talking about the story, after all. Now, off the bat, I want to say the story presented in Secrets of Doctor Who is better than the story in the main game, by a decent margin as well, I would say. It is essentially contained to the second of the 2 maps you'll gain access to, and the plot of corporate subterfuge and sabotage did genuinely have me wondering who was at fault, who was responsible for the problems that fueled said plot. I won't give away any more than that, but some of the missions tying into this story, whilst at times frustrating as you'll see in my playthrough, were similarly interesting and unique. The problem is sort of the rest of it. As much fun as I found the plot to be, the ending kind of fell flat, and without this big reveal I really felt it was building up to, and I know what I was hoping for, and I'm sure some of you will be hoping and expecting the same thing as you play the game. Likewise, while some of the missions, one in particular, presented a unique slant on the evolution formula, most of them were essentially the same thing we'd done over and over before in the main game. I understand how it could be difficult to vary gameplay in a game such as this, but I was hoping for a smidgen more variety and uniqueness. The second island in particular suffers from some thematic issues, as even though you're working on this secret research facility, you still have to set up a park with shops and the like despite having no guests, and try to earn your stars and cash. It just doesn't actually make much sense, and I'd have preferred a braver choice, give us a bunch of money or even unlimited funds and then some more dangerous and difficult missions, rather than sticking to the same park mechanics we've always had, even when they feel illogical and at odds with the story. Earning money is not the challenge in Jurassic World Evolution, past the first 30 minutes or so of a park. It never has been. It was not a mechanic we needed in this DLC. So it's a mixed bag for the story then. Overall, it's definitely better than the main game, and I was enjoying it. And this is probably because on the second island there's no contracts, there's no reputation. You're doing directed missions and that's all. This means that the experience and the story can be more direct and controlled. It has a more logical progression to it, and it really helped it out. I just wished they stuck the landing a little bit better. Finally then, I briefly mentioned there's some other aspects to the DLC that are worth considering. There's a new building, it's an advanced storm defense station, it's handy to have but in reality doesn't mean much, and a bunch of new research options too, centred primarily around saving you money. But there's a couple that feel like worthy little additions, such as the increased transport speed for your sick, dying, dead dinosaurs, basically. The 2 new maps aren't really worth mentioning, they're small research bases after all, and they're not parks you're going to want to go back and build on again once the DLC is done, unless you're in a particularly masochistic mood. I think the big problem the DLC suffers from, and I know this is probably the problem that's bothering a lot of you at home, is that it doesn't feel like the DLC we needed, that the game needed. New dinosaurs are nice, but how many people wanted them to be hybrids, really? New maps are nice, but they're too small to be a long-term factor for the game. The genes are great for building more entertaining dinosaur exhibits, but the lack of terrain tools and decorations mean those exhibits end up looking the same regardless. I suspect this DLC has been in the works for a while, and I also suspect, or at least hope, that this focus on hybrid dinosaurs isn't going to be a long-lasting one for the rest of the DLC. And I know, this is Jurassic World, not Jurassic Park, but even Colin Trevorrow has realised that what the people want is a return to the animalistic and natural feeling of the earlier films. That's why there's no new hybrids in Jurassic World 3. I do like 2 of the hybrids for what it's worth. Sorry Ankylodocus, you're still derpy. All told, my recommendation whether you buy this or not hinges on your budget, your love or tolerance for hybrids, and how much stock you put in the genetic options. For me, if you are a fan of the game and intend to keep playing it, then I'd suggest you pick it up for the genetic adaptations alone. They really are a big deal, and alongside that, some of the new dinosaurs are genuinely brilliant. The Spinoraptor and Troodon are both in my top 10 favourite dinosaurs in the entire game now. For others, if you really dislike hybrids, and you only find yourself playing the game on occasion, not messing around with new parks and stuff, I don't think the story campaign is enough reason to come back and play more. All that said, whilst I'm not here to review patch 1.5, it has come out at the same time, it came out earlier today, and it does address some of the issues the main game has, and is all told a pretty great update. If I'd bought the DLC, I wouldn't regret it personally, and I think Frontier has done a good job fulfilling the aims they had when designing this DLC. I'm just not personally convinced those aims were the right one for most of the people who play the game, though I certainly don't know that for sure. And hanging around in the subreddit and Discord, it really creates like an echo chamber of what is in reality a very small percentage of the game playing public. Even then, Frontier have been fantastic at addressing community concerns. Day-night cycles, sleeping dinosaurs, herding, dinosaur size changes, the way the carnivores hunt, all of these were things we wanted, and all of these were changed for free post-release. That's all from me anyway, folks. Let me know in the comments down below if you'll be picking up the DLC, or if you already have, what you're thinking of it so far. Please do throw me a like if you enjoyed this review / discussion sort of thing, and remember to subscribe for an obsessive amount of Jurassic World Evolution content. No matter how critical I may be of certain aspects of the DLC, I do love this game at the end of the day. Cheers, much love, as always. Bye-bye. A little shout out at the end. This video and others like it would not be possible at all without the support of you guys watching me at home, and also everyone on this Patreon page right here who supported me in the last month. If you want to help out as well, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. Every little really helps. Cheers.